Hello and welcome back to Rosby's Rugby. This is your Pro Day Dirt Round 30 preview. Yes, the final round of the Marathon Pro Day Dirt season is here, and this is going to give you everything you need to know about that final round. What have you got coming up in this video? Well, the first bit is going to be the chat from the podcast with a load of visuals to help explain it that we recorded back on Monday to kind of give the results from last week, talk through the performances and give an overview of the situation and where everyone's at coming into this round. You'll then get our predictions for Pro Day Dirt Round 30, and then you'll get the team news run through for Provence going away to Valence Romans in that FR-UK game. You can watch that 8 p.m. Friday, or if you've missed it, you can watch it in full on repeat afterwards online. But check out FR-UK for what is set to be an epic clash. Quick apology before we get into the roundup from last week and from the podcast. We managed to forget two mental things that happened in Pro Day Dirt last week. We had Hugo Bastard, or Bastard, yes, that is his real name. Hugo Bastard managed to score a try without a shirt on. Somehow, I don't know how he lost his shirt, but it happened, which is wild. That is so Pro Day Dirt. The other mental thing that happened in Pro Day Dirt that was also vintage Pro Day Dirt was that Kylian Jaminet, yes, brother of Melvin Jaminet, the fullback for Biarritz, managed to get sent to the sin bin for running into the referee. Yes, it was deemed to be intentional that he collided with the referee. He actually gets floored by the ref. The ref stands his ground, but his eyes are on the ball, I think. Bizarre, like it's just a mental. The ref goes to the TMO and checks it to see it, try and work out if if Jaminet has intentionally run into him. He concludes that he has, and that he could have avoided colliding with the referee, and gives him a yellow card. Absolutely wild. A bloke scoring topless, a bloke getting yellow carded in one of the wildest yellow cards ever. This is Pro Day Dirt. It's why we love it. So enjoy this preview. Enjoy all of the stuff that you've got coming up in this video. You've got the overview, then you've got the predictions, and then you've got the team news for that epic game on FR-UK. Remember to check that out.
Pro Day Dirt, we now know, I mean, there was some individual drama in some of these games, but in terms of where we've shaken out, we know the identity of the top six, if not quite the order yet. Brive confirmed their status in the barrage with a who did they beat? Carcassonne away from home, in which oh my god, is it Tua Tavaki? Is that the guy's name on the wing? Did see the Carcassonne social media guys saying, "Can you spot the difference between these two objects?" And it's him and an armored vehicle, which is, I don't know if that's harsh or whether that's like the ultimate praise, but yeah, they're having a bit of fun knowing that there's not too much to play for Carcassonne. And then at the bottom of the table, perhaps even more consequentially, the identities of some of those who will not be relegated have become clear. So Dax are all good, although I think were Dax fine the week before? Near enough. Aurillac are fine. Nevers are just okay, in spite of being hammered at home to Oyonnax, and their manager was pretty, not very happy with his team after that. I saw describing some of the players as a bit of a disgrace and other things. But Biarritz are very much in the mire with
they all
Stade
lost
Montois,
basically, didn't they? Like Aurillac lost at home to Grenoble. Dax lost at home by Aurillac lost by 2 points. Dax lost by 2 points to Valence Romans, and then Nevers got thumped. So they kind of all had home games to secure it, and I guess just the nature of the fixtures meant that they're kind of all safe. Those losing bonus points for Aurillac and Dax were the
late defeats as well, I think, weren't they? Both of them. Yes, and so at the bottom of the table where it nets out, Biarritz are at home to Carcassonne and 3 points ahead of Mont-de-Marsan, very much within their gift to stay in the league. You would think that would be that would be quite the meltdown to lose at home to the already relegated side, but stranger things have happened. Mont-de-Marsan have to beat Agen at home to even stand a chance. So They are looking like they will probably play the loser of Narbonne Nice, but could be wrong.
Yeah, that I was surprised by how comfortable it was for Bezier at home to Biarritz. I actually tipped Biarritz to win that one, I think. Um, and yeah, really quite comfortable for Bezier. I think again, like Marquez, just an absolute lord. I think just what a trump card to have one of the best players in the league in a relegation battle. Like it's kind of bit like Montpellier with Cobus Reinach a couple of years ago. Just a guy that can just take the game by a scruff of neck, do absolutely everything, and win you a game. Um, Mont-de-Marsan, who pushed Colomiers pretty close. They were ahead for quite a large chunk of that game. They did lose 19-13, which so they don't get the losing bonus point, which I guess kind of doesn't really matter in the end. Like it's is
Yeah,
there a
they'd be
they'd be
2 points
2 points behind
behind.
rather than
So
three. Yeah, like ultimately they need Biarritz to trip up at home to Carcassonne. Like I don't think that's not coming down to bonus points, is it? Regardless of whether they'd got one or not, they needed that win more than they need. Well, obviously they needed a win more than the bonus point, but I don't know the bonus point whether they'd got it would have been fairly inconsequent. You know what I'm trying to say? Inconsequential.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think don't know. It feels Mont-de-Marsan feels probably about right for them to be the second worst team.
yeah. I mean, it was the start to the season, right? The second
Yeah,
half, they've kind of been okay. I think their form maybe has dropped a tiny bit recently, but they lost at home to Dax and stuff like that, which didn't help. They
they
lost
were
by
really poor in that
a
game.
point to Grenoble. I say their form's been better recently. They've lost 4 in a row. But before that, they'd won, I think, three of the previous four. So yeah, I mean, also a performance. I would assume I didn't see it, but a performance like that at Colomiers would suggest that we saw how big that gap can be between the two leagues. Yeah, I'd imagine they'd still be confident, but the pressure and having to go away either to Narbonne or Nice will be huge. But yeah, we'll see. You never know. Carcassonne might have something to say about it.
Is that the following weekend? I think it is, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, straight afterwards. Yeah, because it's there. It's usually it'll be the same. Yeah, because then the access match is the same weekend as the Pro Day de semis.
Yeah.
No, does that work? Not sure.
National final. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the same weekend as the Pro Day semis, so it is straight into it. No, sorry, there's a week off.
Okay,
So everyone has a week off for. I know there's Pro
let's
Day
go.
Barrage, which coincides with the Champions Cup, and then it's the semi-finals, the same weekend as the access match. So at least they can go kind of full noise. Well, both Biarritz and Cox and Mont-de-Marsan can go full noise, knowing that they'll get a week off. They can throw everything at that game. They don't have to do a Perpignan of, we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
rest up for this one because we know we've got a big game the next week.
Indeed. At the top of the table, probably I mean, certainly the most eye-catching result, which also doesn't necessarily tell the full story. Provence beating Van by 3 points at home. Kind of see that happening. Provence have steadied the ship and big old journey, and Van already qualified, but it doesn't quite tell the
What
tale.
a game! And what an atmosphere, and what an evening! Like the I know there was a few of our listeners that were there, and some of the footage from the stands and the food looks unbelievable. The skyline looked glorious. The atmosphere in that second half was phenomenal. Like proper eruptions from the crowd when some of those tries were going over, which looked. I don't know what Philip Sanchondrea said at half time, but whatever he said, it worked. Um, get that cliche out of the way. 21-0 down at half time, and they looked fairly bereft at that point to then come back and storm ahead. And it was Van needed a late try to get that point as well to get within five. So they properly stormed ahead. Did you get to see much of this?
I only seen little bits. I didn't see the game in full. I was kind of following it from a bit of a distance, and I don't know. I think we do see these kind of comebacks more often now, don't we? Like it's not totally shocking, just with the way that these sides play like aggressive attacking rugby. And like Provence have got such a good side, and particularly such an exciting backline. But equally, Van have been such a cut above everyone else. There hasn't been a sign, I don't think, this year. I can't imagine of the 4 games or whatever it was they'd lost before this, or 3 games they'd lost before this. I can't imagine they'd had any sort of significant lead overturned. So yeah, it's an interesting one. And I feel like Provence maybe to themselves a little bit maybe needed this win, because they wobbled a bit at home to some of the bigger teams, even where they've got results. So they lost to Colomiers, didn't they? They just got past Oyonnax a few weeks back, and they'd had a couple of slightly iffy fixtures. Trying to actually pull up exactly what those results look like, but yeah, really, really impressive stuff. They got hammered at Brive, didn't they, as well, a few weeks back? Although I think they
Yeah,
were
with the
quite
kids.
changed up for that. But yeah,
The
very
key
cool.
thing here was that we kind of, when we were talking about it last week, we were like, would Van go for it in terms of, do you rest players? Do you try and lay down a marker? They sent a really strong side, but the other thing was like, where are Provence at with their injuries? Well, they had on the bench Tamana Harrison, Andra Zafra, who's been out quite a lot, Yannick Yayu, Wegresin. They've got not all of them like top level internationals, but they've quite a lot of them have played like top level rugby. Um, it looked like a serious bench, and that was kind of what made the difference. Like guys like Harrison and Yu and Zafra off the bench. Wegresin ended up playing quite a large chunk of the game because Seb Talfa went off, which is a bit of a blow. Roman Laterad, who's like didn't play in the final, but he's a Champions Cup winner. He was really good off the bench as well. So they've got that depth, and they seem to have the players coming back. They've still got a fair amount of injuries. Do you know if George North is going to play at all?
I'm not sure. I kind of was under the impression that he was maybe done. I think it was.
He's still there. He's still
I
knocking
know.
around.
Yeah, I know he's still there, but I don't know.
Um, but I thought I was really impressed with Provence second half. Van looked pretty good first, obviously pretty good first half. Big shout out for the former Po boys, Thibaut Debice and Elliot Rudil linking for an early try. Like Debice was really good in that first half. Um, he's going to, I want to say Colomiers next year.
Oh,
He's
is
going
he?
somewhere else.
Didn't
He's
know that.
moving on. He's moving on somewhere else. And I was like, oh, that's quite a good signing for that club. I think it's Colomiers. Um, but I was really impressed with Pierre Boudon as well at 12. He's been really good this season, like proper, gives him a load of direction. Um, he made an absolute howler of a mistake for the try just before half time where he rolled the ball back onto his own line and got done. But I really, really like watching Arthur Coville play. I think he's like lovely pass on him, sharp, like kicking game can like it can be a bit well, it's pretty good. The management of it is pretty good. Like his execution was a bit off at times, but set up a lovely try down the blind side, which I think got chalked off for something completely ridiculous um, in the first half. But I really like watching him. I think moving Batuniata to the centres seems to have been an absolute revelation.
He's been
Um,
amazing.
yeah, like yeah, he's been so good. I think the try, it's eventually Lepeg dots it down for from about 3 centimeters away, but it's a bust through the middle from Batuniata, offload to Fee now, like two absolute powerhouses of centres with men trailing off them as they kind of power through in the second half. Like that's formidable for pretty much anyone. Um, yeah, the yeah, Varero as well, the young fullback. I didn't know that much about him, but nailed a couple of long. I think he was 100% off the tee, and a couple of them were real long range efforts just inside his own half.
Um, yeah, it was a great game, like really high quality in some places, like some proper talent on show. Loads of guys to watch out for. Properly gets the juices flowing for the barrage, which will all be barrage and the semis and the final all on FR-UK as well, which means we can watch all of it, which is epic. And how about this for a segue? Provence are back in action on Friday night in FR-UK. All of the games, 8 p.m. Friday UK time, 9 p.m. local time. Provence going away to Valence, other than the relegation ones, but that's probably the one with the most riding on it, I'd say, in that they have a direct consequence, like the impact directly
Yeah,
consequences both teams, doesn't it?
yeah. Well, Provence have a home barrage, don't they? They're on 88 points, and Oyonnax in fifth are 82, I think. But Valence obviously are not guaranteed, and it will shake out as to who they play. But yeah, should be huge. That also I saw that
Well,
game
well,
sold out
Provence,
like 2 weeks
Provence.
in advance at
Oh,
Valence.
really?
Yeah,
Provence. There is an outside shot with Colomiers going away to Grenoble. Provence can get a win and Grenoble lose, or I guess draw. I imagine maybe Colomiers get are above on the head to head as well. But uh, there is a chance that if Colomiers lose and Provence win, that they can get into second, which, as we were saying, is pretty key. If they can get, if Provence, well, they're 4 points ahead of Valence Romans, right? So if they keep that 4 point margin, or sorry, if Valence Romans win and Provence get a bonus point, but Valence, yeah, and Valence don't get a try scoring bonus point, then Provence will stay in third, which, as we were saying, is pretty key because it means the semis, well, they would play probably Brive or Oyonnax in the home barrage, but then they would have an away semi at Colomiers. So they want to finish third. They don't want to throw in the towel and let Valence have an attacking bonus point and them to get nothing because then Valence would leapfrog them and Provence would then, if they were to win their home barrage game, would have an away semi at Van, which I think everyone wants to avoid because Van have been, well, they've only lost 5 games all year, but at home they have just been utterly ridiculous, haven't they? 12 bonus point wins from 14 at home this year. And I know a few teams are thrown in the towel, Provence, I think, being one of them. But Provence can't afford to send the side that they sent to Brive a few weeks ago and just accept that they're going to lose and have their eyes on a game further down the line. I think they need to get at least a point or prevent Valence Romans getting an attacking bonus point because they don't want to finish fourth.
yeah,
And ultimately, like you'd like to think they're trying to get like
yeah.
trying to get second,
I
trying to
don't
get
think there's going
second.
to be. I don't think there's going to be any rotation there from Provence. I also think we'll talk about it more next week, but I think there is. I do still think Van are the best side in the league by a stretch, and I would expect them to go up. But I genuinely think otherwise nothing is guaranteed at all. Like I saw Oyonnax dust Brive a few weeks back, and I don't think any side would want to play anyone in that in that top sort of five or six. It's yeah, there's a lot of quality, and it's kind of shaken out, hasn't it, towards the back end of the year.
I think Van are fallible. I think they're mentally weak.
Interesting.
Well, I just they folded in the second half there. They folded late on in that first game of the season away at Brive to cut for the draw. We saw them fold late
They
on.
had 14 men for 70 minutes away at the biggest budget club in the league.
They're mentally weak, mate.
No, I want to
I'm joking,
see
Van
them.
fans. That people are going to come at me
I
now.
want to see them. I do want to
I
see
feel like
Van
Van fans are like the ones you don't want to piss off.
because
Like
it's
they're the
hard to
one,
get a
yeah.
ticket.
Well, also, but like they're particularly passionate and
Yeah,
particularly proud of their club, and yeah,
we'll see. We'll see what
Van are going to win the
happens.
top 14 next year. There you go.
We'll see how it shakes out. Yeah, really exciting. I feel like otherwise
It's
it's
all pretty
kind of
inconsequential, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, Oyonnax could get themselves a home if Valence lose. They could strike and end up in fourth. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Aurillac, yeah, the end of season can't come quick enough for Aurillac.
Yeah, it's been a horrible back end of the year, hasn't it, for them?
2 wins from the last 10.
Live to fight another day in Pro Day there. So our trip to the LAC is still on.
Yeah,
It's still on for next year. Number one
some point,
destination.
some point. That's got to be the September one. We've got to make that happen in
Yeah,
September.
sure we can find a way.
It's the final round of Pro Day Dirt. Yes, the 30th and final round of the regular league season is here at last. And obviously there is still plenty to play for. Not loads, like not on every game, but still a lot to settle. Notably the access match slot, that 15th place, who plays in the playoff against the runner-up in National to be in danger of getting relegated to National, and also the slots within the barrage and who gets that coveted home semi-final by finishing in second place. I'll run through which games have got something on them as I go through these predictions, but let's get into these predictions because that first one on that list that you can see that is a huge game. Biarritz hosting Carcassonne. Carcassonne are already relegated. They are finishing bottom. Biarritz need to win or draw and they should be safe in Pro Day Deux for another season. If they lose, there is a real danger that they drop into 15th and into that access match slot to play the relegation playoff. We're both going for Biarritz though. Carcassonne, they've obviously only got Pride to play for, and Biarritz have been pretty strong at home. Generally, they've got Joe Jonas playing at 13, which is a bit weird, but that's still a bit of a trump card for Biarritz. Brive versus Nevers. So Brive can get into fourth, which would give them a home barrage game, but they're most likely to finish 5th or 6th, and they might be eyeing up who they're going to be playing in those barrage games. Brive have picked a slightly weaker side generally, perhaps a bit of rotation to get some rest and some game time into a few players. I'm going for Nevers. I kind of foresaw that Brive might change it up a bit, but they've also changed it up a bit. Rich going for Brive, which makes complete sense. Strong at home, strong squad. Nevers have got nothing to play for. They've had a pretty crap season as well. Grenoble v Colomiers is the other one that we're split on. Colomiers, with a win, will secure that second place. So they are currently in second, and if they win, they obviously guarantee that, which would be huge because it means they miss Van until, realistically, the playoffs. Rich is going for them. They've had a great away record this season. I'm going for Grenoble. I just think they've got a talented squad. They've got to kind of restore some sort of pride. Colomiers have gone strong. That's a real tight one to call. That's why we're split on it. Oyonnax are like Brive, a win, and if results go their way, they could finish up 4th and get themselves a home barrage, which would be great for them because they've been a little bit shaky on the road at times. Aurillac have had a disastrous second half of the season. The season can't finish quick enough for them. We're both going for Oyonnax in that one. We're both going for Van over Dax. Van imperious at home, and Dax are safe, and they've had a long season. Well done to Dax for staying up. We're both going for our boys Angoulême, Saxe-V to beat Béziers. Béziers secured their survival last week, so they won't perhaps be quite as motivated as they were last week. Angoulême, bit of an average season, but hopefully a big win to finish off and send off some players who have been huge servants to the club, which is a big focus for a lot of these teams. Mont-de-Marsan hosting Agen. This is the other big game with stuff riding on it. Agen kind of finished in 7th. They're solid, nothing to play for. Mont-de-Marsan are currently in 15th. They are the team in that playoff place, currently potentially at risk at getting relegated to National. If they need a win at the very least, but they also need to hope that Biarritz trip up. We are both backing Mont-de-Marsan to do their share of the bargain. Valence Romans versus Provence, so two really strong sides. This is the live game on FR-UK. Both teams have something to play for, which is why it's so important and why you should watch it. Cracking game. We are both going for Valence. Their home record has been really strong. Can they get over the line for one more time at the end of the season? Huge round of fixtures. Pro Day Dirt at its best. Tight, plenty to play for. Drama is guaranteed. Enjoy the final round of Pro Day Dirt for the 2025-26 season. The final round of Pro Day Dirt, and of course our friends over at FR-UK are bringing you a game for live and for free, thanks to their YouTube channel and having the Pro Day Dirt rights. It's a Friday because all of the games in the final round kick off at exactly the same time, 9 p.m. local time on the Friday, 8 p.m. UK time. And if you're in the UK and Ireland, you can check it out live and for free. But let's get into these two teams because there is plenty riding on this game. Either side could, right, second gets you straight into the home semi-final. Provence, if they win and Colomiers slip up, they could get that second place, which is a big, big carrot, because not only does it give you skipping the barrage, it also gets you a home semi-final, and it means that you definitely avoid Van in the knockouts, because they will have their own semi-final by virtue of finishing first. But also, Valence, if they win, they can leapfrog Provence and get into third, which is also quite a bit of a carrot, because they would have a home barrage game, so they do still have to go through the barrage, but it's at home, and then they play, if they win that, they would play away at Colomiers. So they would avoid going to Van, but if they finish fourth and they won their home barrage game, they would be off to Van in the semi-finals, which no one wants to do. As a result, we have two teams at pretty much full strength, or very, very strong. Valence Romans have got a much smaller squad. They've got a lower budget, about 11th, I think, in the league in terms of budgets. And their squad is small, so we've seen a lot of these guys play a lot of game time. I think they've got 4 or 5 guys in the top 10 in terms of minutes played. Guys like Lucas Meret, who is streets ahead as the top point scorer in Pro D2. He's obviously the one to look out for, the main man. But I think the way he combines with Joris Mora, coming into the line as a kind of second playmaker at fullback, they play so well together. It's like at home, they play some brilliant shapes. Really like to chuck it about. Dylan Adrisi at outside centre had a brilliant game last week. He's absolutely electric. Look out for him. He's a fantastic player. And obviously Dorian Marco Pena, the try-scoring hooker. What a boy. Englishman Gareth Milosevic on the bench as well at tight head. Really talented tight head. Good to see him getting some game time as well. Definitely one to look out for there. For Provence, a little bit rotated in the pack, but it is the guys that have come back from injury that made their bench so strong in that epic game on FR-UK last week when they overturned Van, a horrible deficit at half-time. It's still a really, really strong side. They've still got Ingafin and Betuniata in the centres, 2 absolute block-busting centres. They don't have Adrien Lepeg, but they do bring in the immensely talented Leo Drouet. He is a serious baller, absolutely rapid as well. Definitely one to watch. Really enjoyed Manuel Ferrero last week, but it's in that tight 5 where it matters. You've got Roman Laterad, who won the Champions Cup with Bordeaux. You've got Thomas Francis back for the first time in a while. Andres Zafra and Yannick Yuyuk both start. They've missed a lot of games with injury. And Taymana Harrison comes into the pack as well. So it's a huge, huge pack. And if that backline gets a platform, who knows what could happen. But you've still got that epic bench with Tuisui. Okoye is a really talented player. Wegrasin, Argentinian international. So huge game. Don't be surprised if it's like really physical from Provence. Can they get the muscle to get them the advantage over Valence? Valence might try, and they've got a really organised pack, but they will chuck it about a bit more. It's going to be an absolute thriller. Make sure you check it out on FR-UK, live and free, over on YouTube, and enjoy the final round because there's so much riding on it.